Alrighty, time for a quick garden update. I've been working in the garden all day, so we'll see what we got here. So this is one of the newest things I added to my compost. We'll start with compost also. So I added this barrel. I just threw a few plants in here, but what I've been doing is picking up all the plants growing. I mean, like, I like sunflowers, but they are a weed when it comes to the garden. I rip up plants with impunity. I'll leave a few sunflowers. There's a couple already like 3 or 4 feet tall in the garden, but they will grow in the hundreds if you let them. So I rip up most of them and then I throw them in this barrel. So all this is new plants. Over here is some broccoli I was ripping up because this one is just looking terrible, but I'm still gonna harvest a little bit of broccoli out of here. I just need to go grab my clippers. But anyways, new plants are going in this barrel. And what I did a little while ago is I just dumped it out. After about maybe a month and a half, all the plants, basically new plants in the barrel, now look like this. It's like compost spaghetti. So what I'm gonna do with this is just let it sit here for now, and then I'm gonna rotate it into my actual compost. So usually compost, I do leaves and like shredded leaves, yard mulch, and like plants and anything else that needs to go in here. But like right now, I just stuck a hole in here and it's actually hot enough to almost be like too hot for my hand in here. So that's how hot the interior of the compost pile is. It'll break down. It's all, yeah, leaf trimmings and yard trimmings from the lawnmower. Usually I'll fill up the lawnmower section, which I posted about it the other day. Well, this was full of like lawnmower trimmings, and now I've like rotated that with also some dead plants into this thing of compost. So it's now going along. Like I said, it's super hot, and like I'm letting, like, I got a bunch of butterflies on the pineapple and some other stuff over here. So yes, there's always going to be bugs around compost piles. That's part of it. So keep it as far away from the house as possible, because the house is over there. This is my rotated compost. Like, I added some dirt that's like sandy soil on top of it, and so I'm going to mix it in, but I'm not mixing it in yet because I actually have a bunch of cantaloupes sprouting in here. So I'll see if I can transplant some of those cantaloupes, but otherwise this one is the same, cantaloupe sprouting everywhere. I added some sandy soil in here, and this one is basically ready to use. And also I added some sandy soil, but this has now been turned, and it definitely makes a huge difference in just like the way it looks. It's like a little sandier, but what I'm doing with this is just using it for compost that I'm adding as I plant things. So I've been harvesting some of the coriander now. So coriander seeds are basically ready to dry out. I'll trim off the end of this plant and throw it in the barrel of plants. Picked out some of my best tomatoes and just planted them. I've been planting marigolds everywhere. So we'll start down from the end of what we got going on here. But how far along am I anyways? 3 minutes. Alrighty, well, try to not go too crazy. I got a bunch of onions over here. They probably need more water than what they've been getting. The garlic is looking really good down here. Potatoes are looking really good right over here. Watermelon hasn't really done much of anything yet. I need to probably protect these guys just in case, but like, it hasn't really sprouted. But we also haven't got that much rain lately. We definitely could use some more. Potatoes, more potatoes. Should be some in the ground here, but they haven't sprouted. These are carrots that are now flowering. There's my squash and zucchini here. Those guys are looking really, really poor. So dang, my zucchini did not like it over here. But also I hadn't been watering enough because I expected a lot more rain, and we haven't been getting it yet. It's supposed to come later, but I need to probably water over here. But cucumbers are looking really good. So all this row is cucumbers down here. Over here is a bunch of melons, and like some of those guys sprouted like crazy over here. So tons and tons of melons on this row. I still got broccoli that I haven't harvested yet. It hasn't flowered yet, and some of them have a little bit of broccoli where I can harvest it. But I did harvest all the broccoli right over here and replaced it with tomatoes on some of it. There's a few more I have left. It's all seeds right here, and that one's still flowering, so I'm letting them go a little longer. And then this section I've added basil. So this is going to be some basil over here. And now over to tomatoes. So tomatoes, I just went through and trimmed out most of the bottom branches. I thought I got everything, but this one I definitely did not. So I'm trying to keep anything off the ground that bugs could get to easily. So these are already looking yellow anyways, which means I might have to treat them for spider mites soon. But I went through all the 50-something tomatoes and trimmed the bottom of them, other than that one, I guess. So that one's ready to go, and I've been planting random basils and lots of marigolds around here. So So otherwise, over here we have one tomatillo plant, a row of eggplant, a row of peppers. I believe these are spicy ones. There are some random melons growing out of here. I threw out a ton of cantaloupe seeds and those guys just sprouted randomly. A couple more tomatillos, that one's getting pretty big. A lot more flowering coriander, but once it gets past all the white flowers, then it'll just be all the green like seeds, and then I'll harvest them. But I usually let them go for quite a while so they can get all the nutrition they need before plucking the seeds. More peppers. These guys are doing all right. There are a few peppers growing over here, same as there are some tomatoes in there. I didn't really highlight them, but there's like one right over there. So otherwise, I've been planting a few things in this section. I have some kale. I need to throw up a fence around this one because it's mainly going to be herbs, but I have some onions and stuff. I probably should rip up these trees. There's some more. There were a ton of sunflowers in here, but I ripped a bunch of them up. I have some tomatoes randomly sprouting, marigolds, lettuce is bolting, some strawberries, there's sage, I added some parsley, there's two oregano plants. My marjoram is absolutely insane. This is like 5 by 5, so it's like 25 square feet from one plant. So marjoram, give it some space. Rosemary's over here. Some more, there's curled and flat leaf parsley. Need to make sure I'm not stepping on anything over here. There's some onions. I have my artichokes over here. Some more cucumbers and watermelon plants I can plant. This section is just a bunch of onions that I've pulled out of the garden. Over here, just a few plants. I have some more of those same onions. Another, I think, marjoram plant. It's either that or oregano. Oh yeah, I forgot. I meant to transplant these, but these are onions that are planted too close together. I just threw them in the ground to make sure they'd grow, but that's what happens when they're too close together. And I forgot to transplant those. My section with catnip, one big coriander plant and asparagus is like super full. The cats love this place, so this is where the kitties go to play and hang out. It's the kitty chill zone. And catnip and asparagus seem to work pretty well together, but they are not having the issues. It looks like I lost a branch over here. Some potatoes are in here, more potatoes. Lots of random plants. There's a tomato plant that's pretty good size. There's actually one cilantro seeds, but they're all bolting. Had some more onions I should have transplanted a while ago. Lots of little transplants I've just been throwing in that bucket. Then over here I have a few more things. I'll go through that, and a lot of my seedlings coming up. So I've been just taking out the seedlings I'm trying to plant, set them over here, but I have all my seedlings over there by the mushrooms. Where am I at on my time? We're at 8 minutes almost. So over here I have my hops. Got some strawberries. This is now like one of the biggest enemies of the strawberry is roly-polies. They'll eat them like crazy, and I have tons upon tons upon tons of roly-polies in my garden, so I don't hate them, but they like strawberries. So I'll keep that in mind. Over here I probably need to go on the other side and take care of some vines, but these are my hops. They are doing pretty well. I need to, I think, water everything here in a minute. Although we're supposed to get 1 to 2 inches of rain tonight, I guess. So maybe tonight is the final night when it actually rains again. But we have gotten like quite a bit of rain earlier because we had 3.5 inches not that long ago. But it's just been like, hey, it's gonna rain, then it never did. So over here is my mulch stuff. I've been shredding this pile up. It's about a little less than halfway shredded, but I just run it through my leaf shredder. And it's mushroom compost and old leaves from last year and a bunch of coffee, and that gets shredded up and becomes that once it's shredded. This is recent leaves, and the ones in the bag still need to shred, but everything else in the pile has been shredded. So I'll use this to mix in with my lawn trimmings for compost, or use it for mulch in the garden. I didn't discuss too much on the mulch, but I usually fill the rows with kind of like that leafy mulch mixture and throw down paper or cardboard to down the middle of the rows to keep keep weeds from going. So I do have some mushrooms going. There are some blue oysters, another blue oyster. There's probably more in here. I need to re-water them. I leave them out. I mean, I kind of lazy about it lately, but I do use them when I can. And really they should be kept indoors and in a humid controlled environment and other stuff, but I just haven't had the time to make that setup. But for the last part, I'll cover a lot of my seedlings. So I've got an abundance of seedlings, way too many. I have been transplanting them constantly from little pots, or basically up potting them. So like ones like this basil, there's tons upon tons of these, and then I'll transplant them into like a couple sections of basil. But yeah, tons of tomatoes, marigolds, some flowers, dill, asparagus section. These are little asparagus plants, so I'll add some more asparagus plants to the garden. These are tomatoes. I'm not sure if they'll survive because they're cuttings, and I threw in the ground to see if they can grow them. Kale, parsley, sunflowers, basil, flowers, lettuce, kale, lots and lots more basil, more tomatoes, parsley, basil, dill, and some melons and basil and a lemon balm. And then over here I've just been filling this place in with plants. I'm trying to remove all sunflowers from my pots because they will grow everywhere. I don't have to grow them in a pot. I just let them pop out of the ground, and then sunflowers grow everywhere. So otherwise, I've been mixing like my bag dirt with my compost from the garden. So whatever I use for my seedlings comes from that. And then I'm just transferring stuff that's super crowded like this into smaller pots. And so it's a never-ending battle of seedlings, but I have a lot of extra seedlings if anyone needs any. Lots of lettuce still, but it's near the end of season. And basil out the wazoo, and still plenty of tomatoes. So if you need plants, just let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to finish like setting up this section. I'm going to have like a little bit of like every herb I might have in the garden, I'm going to try to have out here also. And there's just a ton of plants going, but this is kind of like the little chill zen zone. But it becomes a pain in the butt to water during the summer if it gets really hot, because I lost a lot of tree cover right here. Like this tree died, the one next to it died, and that one was really tall. And then another, probably 3 or 4 of these have died last year. So I lost a lot of my trees down there, but I'm going to try to harvest some of my crepe myrtle like saplings at the bottom and replace these slowly but surely with crepe myrtles. But anyways, that's the current garden update, and yeah, I will touch back later.